How to legit check basic streetwear in under 10 minutes. We live in a world where there are now tons of fakes of every item you can imagine. Places like Powder Dubai, Sugar Goo have kind of ruined the streetwear world because any item can be faked, and not just faked, the items that are faked can actually be amazing quality, and it can actually be difficult to tell the fake from the real. I am not a professional legit checker. I've never had a job in legit checking, but I have sold and bought tons of streetwear in the past few years, so I like to think I have some knowledge between distinguishing fakes and authentic items. So I'm sharing my knowledge with you guys so you are not in a position where you're buying an item and it is fake and you cannot get a refund, essentially getting scammed. First off, there's two things before we actually get into any direct comparisons. Number one, question who the seller is. If you're buying streetwear from a streetwear shop on the high street, it's probably authentic. If you're buying streetwear off a seller that has thousands of views selling streetwear, it's probably authentic. If you're buying stuff with someone who has one review or two reviews or isn't selling a lot of streetwear, that can be not a red flag, but not a green flag. You gotta proceed that with caution. If you're buying something from someone and on their page you can see they have other fake items such as shoes, clothing, don't buy from them because chances are it will be fake. But this leaves us with this massive middle ground. There's people who are selling streetwear who don't have hundreds of reviews and are noticeably selling fake. And this is where you can use the second part, which is Google image search. This is when you go Google image, take a photo, and it will come up with tons of different links that are exactly the same as the photo. What this allows you to do is if you have an item that you don't know if it's real or fake, you can take a photo of it. It will show you other websites selling it. If there is an authentic website selling it and the photos look exactly the same, that is obviously a very good sign. Whereas if you take a photo and you see no website selling it, or your item looks completely different to the ones in the photos, that is a big red flag. Obviously it's not 100% possible to tell if an item is real or not through a photo. And this is where I teach you some easy basic comparisons so you stay safe while buying streetwear. So let's get into it. First is Stussy t-shirts. Everyone loves Stussy t-shirts. Stussy is so popular right now. And we're going to get into a few basic checks that you can do to make sure your stuff is legit, because there is a lot of fake Stussy t-shirts out there. Stussy is probably one of the most difficult brands to legit check. They have basically used every single country you could imagine to manufacture that product. You can see made in Guatemala, made in China, made in India, made in USA, made in Australia. They're made everywhere, which could definitely throw some people off, which is definitely throwing me off. With Stussy, sometimes I need a second opinion to tell if it's legit, because it's so difficult. My DMs are always open. If you want to send me a photo, I will try see if it's legit and help you out. But this is how you can do it yourself. Stussy have tons of different tags, and on screen now is every single tag they've basically ever made, probably excluding a few. This should help you know what year it's from and if your item is legit. Older Stussy is much easier to legit check. Stussy wasn't popular so long ago that people weren't making fakes of it. And if you see a really old t-shirt and it looks old, it's cracking, it doesn't look brand new, chances are it's probably authentic. There's not many fake old t-shirts. Whereas if you see old design, old tag, and the t-shirt looks brand new, then you can ask some questions, because that is never a good sign. Now on to newer Stussy, which is definitely more easily accessible and easy to buy. There is a lot more fakes of them, and chances are you could slip up and buy a fake t-shirt. I've done it so many times, but thankfully I realized it was fake. Stussy designs sometimes have factory flaws. It might not be 100% straight with its stitching. It might not even look authentic, but the main way you can check Stussy is through the tags. Newer Stussy is not perfect. There might be a few factory flaws on some embroidery on the front or the design, but it's all about the tag. Newer Stussy has a very simple tag. It says Stussy, it says the size, and it says made in Mexico. Very easy to tell. Although sometimes it's not made in Mexico, which is perfectly fine. There's no wash tag at the bottom of the t-shirt. It's all on the collar, which makes it very difficult. It's very easy to tell from a real and a fake. So what I would typically do, if I have a funny feeling about the wording or it looks really off, I'll reverse image search, see what type of tag it has, and compare the tag. Off a naked eye, you can tell kind of easily, this is what a real authentic wash tag looks like, and this is what a fake authentic tag looks like. There is obviously quite a noticeable difference. If you have any doubts, reverse image search, see what type of tag it is. There's literally hundreds of tags that if an authentic one has a tag that looks like this, and then the one that you have looks like this, it's fake. Use the brain a little bit. Also focus on the stitching. You'll never see an authentic Stussy t-shirt using white stitching on a black label. That can be a simple throwaway. Overall, make sure it's not very sloppy and it's neat. That is the basic information that you need for a Stussy t-shirt. So now let's move on to some Supreme t-shirts. Supreme t-shirts are so much easier to authenticate. Most fake Supreme t-shirts are from the hypebeast era, when your socks used to go on top of your skinny cargos. So the newer t-shirts are often not fake, but it is also very easy to tell the difference between an authentic and a fake. A flaw I see a lot of the fake is after the USA on the label, it doesn't have a dot after the A. On the authentic tag, you will see U.S.A dot. That dot over the A is so crucial. So many fakes don't have that dot after the A, and it's such a simple thing you can see that if it doesn't have it, it's automatically fake. However, some fakes do have it. Fakes are getting good. So another thing you can do is use the watermark on the back of a Supreme label. It's really hard to pick it up on camera, but you can definitely tell it in person. On the back of a label, it should say Supreme in like this silver type of writing. This, however, can fade with a little bit of washing. So compare how faded it is to how faded the t-shirt is. And with a fake t-shirt, that stitching is usually white and really bold and really easy to see, which is never a good sign. And on newer t-shirts, it will always have RN hashtag and a series of numbers. Fakes will not have these, and every fake I've seen never has this. If your wash tag has the RN series of numbers below and it also says Supreme in that silver, you're probably perfectly fine. Another thing is actually the lettering on the tag, which is very hard to tell unless you can have one to compare. So here's a photo of two. This one is not authentic, this one is authentic, and you can tell the difference. The letters are a lot thinner, they're not as bold, and this is perfect for reverse search. Take a photo of the label, go on Google, see what it comes up with, and you're perfectly fine. Don't get scared of Chinese writing. Lots of Supreme t-shirts do have Chinese writing on the label, and it is authentic because a lot of Supreme is from China. If you're dealing with used, that's perfectly fine. That doesn't necessarily mean it's fake, but people will typically think that if the item has Chinese writing on it, it could be a replica. With Supreme, that is not the case. These few tips should help you be able to tell if it's legit. And as always, my DMs are open. Just ask me and I can give you some help. You're probably absolutely fucking sick of t-shirts. So let's move on to probably the most popular shoe about right now, the Air Max 95. This shoe has so many fakes, it is ridiculous. First, we're moving on to stitching. Most of the Air Max 95s you like, which are OG, the neons, the fresh mints, the pink foams, and typically an older shoe. And Nike's quality was better years ago than it is now. So stitching should be perfectly fine. There might be a few errors, but with a photo like this, which is authentic, and a photo like this, which is not authentic, you could definitely tell the difference between the authentic and the fake just based on stitching. But like I said, fakes are getting really good, so these are a few more checks. The back of the shoe should be sturdy and firm. All the fakes, I swear it's like paper, you squeeze it, and it will just fold. The authentic ones should have some actual strength and structure behind it, that you shouldn't be able to squeeze it that easy and it fold apart. Finally, a big one, which is almost, to me, always an instant giveaway. Take the insole out of the shoe, and at the bottom of the shoe, is there a hole? That sounds crazy. If there is a hole, it's authentic, but fakes don't put a hole in the bottom of the sole, and authentic ones do. And that's my main check. Just pick off the insole, look at the bottom. Does it have a dot in it? Is probably authentic. Comment any specific items you want me to make an authenticating video on, whether that's Jordan 4s, Stussy hoodies, whatever it is. I can pretty much authenticate most things, so comment them down below. Make sure to like the video if you even got one tip that helps you authenticate anything better, help a guy out, and subscribe so you're not getting scammed off fake items. Peace!